Hey guys, Scott. I just want to take a look at 2023 Preakness and the first look at it and talk about if Major won the Triple Crown this year and what I think the chances are of that happening. And we're gonna get right to the probable field for the Preakness. And of course, you got Major, the Kentucky Dirt winner, it's being pointed as of right now. Then Disarm and Confidence game, finished fourth and 10th respectively out of the Derby. Keith Disarmo won the race a few years ago with Exaggerator, so you might see him be a wise guy pick, see if history can't repeat itself. That'll also for Confidence game be, he had that layoff after the Rebel. So this will be a second start off that layoff. So you might see a big improvement this time. Certainly a horse to keep an eye on. You got first miss for Brad Cox, and they, according to reports, horse been training up a storm, and Brad Cox seems really high on this horse. So I can't wait to see this horse what he does. He won the Lexington, coming to the Preakness, and then got National Treasure for Bob Baffert fourth in the San Diego Derby. And of course, Baffert can't run in the Kentucky right now. So I think next year, maybe the year after, I can't remember how long that suspension goes off the top of my head, but nonetheless, he's going to, attempt to run in the Preakness. And then you got Blazing Sevens for Chad Brown, who has the same trainer angle as Early Voting and Cloud Competing, two winners for the Preakness for Brown. I'm not sure if Blazing Sevens is quite as good as those two horses, but, certainly can be looked at as a wise guy horse. And then, of course, everybody's going to be interested in his Forte for Todd Pletcher. And, he won the Florida Derby over Mage and overcame that bad post and, ran him down after the wire. It looked like Turner for home Mage was going to win. So, I can't wait to see these two horses match up. And it'd be cool to see them, 1-2 Turner home for the Preakness and, see who's going to get the best of who, this go around. And then you got Two Fields, who was up on that hot pace in the Derby and, hung around to get second. I think he deserves a shot in the Preakness. Certainly could be a win contender. Then Red Route 1 for Steve Asmussen, one of the Bathhouse Row. He's the one that's going to be coming in at late. Certainly a candidate for the Superfecta. And you can see if he's good enough on that day to be a win contender. But nonetheless, these other horses I'm not really going to get into. But we're going to look at the winners from the Derby to the Preakness, and as you can see that the winner of the Derby doesn't always win the Preaknesses. 2014 California Chrome, 2015 American Pharaoh, 2018 Justify is the only winner since the point system implemented that the same horse that won the Derby has won the Preakness. So you're talking 3 out of 10 years. So, if you're trying to bet on Mage, you got a little bit of history is not really going to be on your side for the Preakness. So, just keep that in mind doing your Preakness handicapping. And I'm personally going to be playing against Mage, and if he wins the Preakness, I'll just have to get beat by him, and that's just it's life in horse racing. You can't bet every horse. You just got to pick who you like and go from there. And then we're going to look at the GPS data from the Kentucky Derby. It took there's a delay in this coming out, but as you can see, Two Fields obviously running out of gas coming for home. We'll talk about him first. He ran 43.19 for the opening quarter mile Mage, only 40.11, then 37.86, 35.33, then went down to 33.41 and 32.57, to end up. And of course, Mage had a little more, balanced trip, 40.11, 36.06, really turned up right at 37.51, and then 36.05, and then finished up 32.95. And then Angel Empire, 40.33, 36.36, 38.01, 35.68, finished 34.78. And that tells me, and I wish the old tracks used to have, how many feet the horse traveled. They don't really have it on this, but certainly if he's beating at every call for miles per hour, that kind of says Angel Empire took the scenic route around the track. And it's kind of tough to see on replay. There's 20 horses. The camera can't really cover. They're all kind of mucked in together. So it's, but I'm willing to bet, Angel Empire's performance is probably, pretty decent. But I'm almost certain you're going to see this horse in the Belmont. And then, of course, Disarm, came home in 33.04, 34.34, and 37.32, 36.51. But as you can see, a lot of these other speed horses that came on set pace, like Reincarnate, Rocket Can, Race Canister, but they all faded. So seeing Two Fields kind of hang around up there after kind of being up towards the pace was definitely a positive sign. Look where all your finishers came. 16th, 4th, 15th, 12th, 6th. So that kind of tells you that the pace was definitely a hot one when your 3 of your top 4 in the superfecta all come from out of it. So it's going to be curious to see what's going to happen if Mage can win the Preakness, but like I said, I'll be playing against him. Just right offhand, a couple horses that intrigue me, and of course, I'm gonna do a lot more handicap than just this. Is confidence game for Keith DeSormo, first mission for Brad Cox, and then Forte for Todd Pletcher. So that's probably who I'm going to be going with. And you notice in recent years for the Preakness, it seemed like the winner has not really like Ron Bauer, ran on the Derby trail but didn't run in the Derby. The same early voting, he was on the Derby trail, but they skipped to the Preakness. I wonder if that's starting to be the new pattern. It's kind of horses, seem like they don't want to run in the Preakness after, winning the Derby in recent memory. Like think of Country House in 19, Rich Strike, in 2022. Baffert always goes for the Triple Crown, so his horses will always run. But it's just curious to see if maybe the new trend for the Preakness will be, horses that have raced on the Derby trail and then are getting that little break. So they're coming in the Preakness fresh, whereas these Derby horses are a little bit, they just fired their best effort on the Derby, so you're not getting them, at full 100%. But thanks for watching, guys. There'll be plenty more videos.